Welcome to The Next Bit, Bite-Sized. I'm Mark Leishman.
And I'm Hannah McQueen. Now, we can't turn back and reverse the ageing process, but we can accelerate it. Now, there are known factors, conditions and situations that can speed physical, cognitive and functional deterioration.
In this bite-sized episode, Brightly's lead clinical pharmacist, Julia Brooks, explains how to prevent the accelerators of decline.
The preventable accelerator of decline. It's a mouthful, if nothing else. What does it actually mean?
So preventable, so things we can do something about. Accelerator, so things that make it go faster. Decline. So preventable accelerators of decline are lifestyle, medical, psychosocial, so, environmental things like social connections and things. All of the different things that impact, when we're talking about ageing, they accelerate the ageing process. And so we're talking about things that you can modify and adjust to slow or the rate of ageing, essentially.
And in the absence of preventing it, you are letting it accelerate.
Yeah. People are trying, but nobody's managed to prevent ageing yet. But we know that you can. There are things that speed up that process, and equally there are things that slow it down. So we're talking about the things that are modifiable that we can change, that slow that inevitable ageing process, but also make you age well. There's a real focus in the longevity, what's the field at the moment about living long. I don't think living long should be the goal, personally. I think living well should be the goal. We want you to live with a maintained quality of life. Quality should be more important to me, I think, than quantity.
Yeah, healthspan.
Exactly, healthspan. So we want you to modify or change the things that you can change so that you stay well for as long as possible, living independently and having a full life.
So if we're going to focus on the preventable accelerators of decline, there's 5 of them.
Yep.
First one, nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that good nutrition, and I'll start by defining what good nutrition is. Good nutrition has proven benefits on slowing cognitive decline, essentially preventing dementia, and encouraging ageing well. And good nutrition is just what your grandparents used to eat. Whole foods. It's what we call single unit foods. A potato, a chicken breast, a nut, those unprocessed whole foods. A diet that is rich in whole foods and is diverse has been shown to improve your microbiome, which reduces inflammation. And more evidence is coming out that ageing is actually a process of chronic inflammation that causes damage. And in fact, the key word that's been coined is inflammaging. So if you can reduce
that too.
You like that? Yeah. If you can reduce inflammation, and I'm not talking about, I have stubbed my toe and now it's sore. That's acute or short-term inflammation caused by a single thing. I'm talking about low-level chronic inflammation that's caused by toxins in your environment, eating rubbish food. And when I say rubbish, I mean things that are more resemble something from a chemical plant than something grown in a garden. So ultra-processed food. Being overweight, all of these things create inflammation in the body, which damages the body and essentially causes ageing.
Number 2 is exercise, and I think more specifically strength training.
Yeah. So as you get older, strength training, strength changes everything. Essentially, for a number of reasons. So your balance is reliant on muscle strength. Your physical ability to be independent, to carry your groceries, to function independently relies on a certain amount of strength. But more than that, when you do strength training, and by that I mean something that has resistance, so that's lifting a weight, picking up something, going upstairs, it's where you're forcing your body to do something against a resistance. Lifting weights, for example, if you do it at a high enough weight, it puts a stress on the muscle. That muscle pulls on the bone, and that pulling on the bone is the trigger that helps your bone to strengthen itself and is a proven preventative for osteoporosis. And strength training can actually reduce early osteoporosis and revert it back to osteopenia and sometimes normalise, if caught early enough. So strength training is really important. It reduces your risk of falls. And there's a condition called sarcopenia. This is a fancy word that means loss of muscle mass as you get older. And we've all seen those, the little old ladies and little old men with skinny little legs, If you don't, sarcopenia, or the loss of muscle, is directly associated with frailty, and frailty is a determinant of life expectancy. If you are frail, you are essentially closer to death. So we want you to stay strong and independent. We want your balance to be good. We want you to be able to be independent, but we want your muscles to maintain enough, volume and strength that they can keep working your body. The special thing about resistance training is that anyone can do it, and it doesn't stop being effective, even a 90-year-old. And if you're unsteady on your feet and you can't, say, go for a long walk because, your heart just won't let you, or your legs are, your knees are too sore, you can do strength training in a chair. You can lift weights while you're sitting at a table. You can tie a milk bottle to your ankle and lift your legs up and strengthen your leg muscles.
Yeah, cool.
So even if you're not able to go for a walk, go for a run, I can't even go for a run anymore. I'm too old. I've got sore bits everywhere. Strength training is something you can do right up until nearly the day you die, and it doesn't stop being effective. The results are, you have to work harder for longer to achieve the same results as, say, when you're 20, but you don't stop achieving those results.
Correct. Wow.
So we've got nutrition, we've got exercise. Number 3 is your vision and hearing loss. Can you
Absolutely.
explain why that's critical?
So it's about brain health is a big part of it. Your brain, like any organ, needs to be used in order to stay healthy, and the inputs need to be working. If you can't hear that there's a reduced input coming to your brain is not being stimulated. One of the single biggest modifiable risk factor for dementia is poor hearing. And it's one that drives me mad because, particularly in my experience, older men, because they can't hide hearing aids under their hair, they leave it until it's quite bad before they go and see somebody about it. If you can't hear, you are speeding your journey towards dementia. It's as simple as that. It's well proven. Get your hearing sorted early. Same with the vision. Those inputs are really important.
The hearing aids these days as well are really small.
Pretty nondescript.
Absolutely. In fact, I mean,
tell them.
you can hardly see them now. And, they have become more affordable. They're still not cheap, but they've become more affordable over time. It's not worth risking your cognition for. If you're, what's the point in living a long time if your brain isn't doing what you want it to do?
Yeah, and I think when people assess whether something's cheap or not, I mean, it's a whole lot more expensive if someone gets diagnosed with dementia and you're having to put them into care. Like, just get
100%.
Get the hearing aids, for goodness sake.
Absolutely.
Socialisation, meeting, connecting.
Yeah, so 2 main reasons for that, and one is neural inputs again, right? You want your brain to be stimulated, and social connections do that. So that's one. The second is the impact on mood. Being isolated, being lonely, it causes depression, and depression is associated with worse outcomes as we age. And in fact, depression is associated with worse outcomes at any age, but particularly so in the older person. People with severe mental health conditions are more likely to have heart problems. They're more likely to have diabetes. They're more likely to have all kinds of conditions when you're younger. The same is true as you age. So we want you to be out there. We want you to be interacting. We want you to be meeting people. We also want you to have people that you trust and love, that care about you, because they might be the ones that pick up that something's not right, that you can't see it
Matters a
yourself.
difference.
You need to be connected.
And number 5 is medications, your hotspot, your love language.
Yes. So being on the right medicines that are doing you good and the minimum of harm at the right doses and taken correctly, they can enhance your life and improve your longevity. the wrong medicines can do the opposite. So making sure you're on the right medications and getting yourself a medication review if you can, and if you can't, at least asking your GP, to do a medication review. They, booking a conversation just for that. Do I need all of these? What are they for?
So we've got the 5. Let's see if we can remember them: nutrition, exercise, vision and hearing, social connection, medication. So those are kind of the 5 preventable accelerators of decline.
Yep.
You have added a 6th one in there, which is being present.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say that?
So being present, so I'll use examples like, meditation, prayer, mindfulness, all of those sorts of things. Stress causes inflammation, and we've already discussed that inflammation causes aging. So we want to reduce your inflammation, and the way to do that is to reduce your stress. Being mindful, being present, being connected with your body. If you are the sort of person that sits on your, outside the front door of your house and listens to the birds in the morning and gets the sunlight on their skin, and is just being present, you're going to notice that your vision has changed and you can't see the bird in the tree anymore. You're going to notice that, my knee hurts even though I haven't done anything yet today. If you're rushing around constantly in a state of anxiety, you're going to miss those messages from your body. You're going to be in a state of stress, which creates inflammation, and you're going to be less connected with other people because you're so busy thinking about the next thing that you're not in the moment, talking to people, being connected. So be present, take the time.
And we also like to finish with one piece of advice about accelerators or preventable accelerators of decline. Is there one?
It's really unglamorous. It's eat well, move more, get out, do stuff. It's the basics. It's good nutrition, keeping your body moving, being connected, not isolating yourself. It's not glamorous, but it works.
It's about optimising those health behaviours, right? The things you should do, don't always do. So work out who you need to hear it from, and be supported by to get it done.
Absolutely. And sometimes, even when you know that you should do these things, you don't necessarily know why. I had a patient the other day who I explained to him, the reasons why we're managing his cardiovascular risk, why we're reducing his statin, actually explained, and he said, cripes, I'm a lot more likely to take my pill now that I know this medicine might be preventing a heart attack. He was like, I try to take it, but I wasn't really invested because I didn't really understand. And it's the same for all of these things. If you know that it's going to improve your quality of life, you're much more likely to do it. And if you've heard the information from an expert that is targeting advice just for you, it's more meaningful as well.
It is interesting that in all these examples of people stuffing up the medications, it's males. And on that note, thank you.
Mark, that was direct.
No, I think it was. Yeah, that hit me right there.
The irony of that is that often it's because, and maybe this isn't true, but it's certainly something that I've noticed, is that men are much more less likely to ask for help. Women will come and say, I've got a pain, or I've got this symptom, or I'm more worried about X, Y, Z. Men will suck it up and carry on, and that's why often men are diagnosed with problems later, or they suffer for a long time without knowing that something is preventable. So, it's as Kiwis, we've got to get our men talking.
Yeah, there you go. Lesson learnt. Thank you very much, Julia.
Thank you.
Awesome.
If you want to dive into this topic more deeply, you can listen to the full-length podcast, Can Managing Your Meds as You Age Help You Live Longer?
And if you enjoy our podcast, please rate us and write a review. It helps others find the podcast too.
And join our community. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. We would love to hear your feedback and contributions. Let's start a movement together.
All the details, they're in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to The Next Bit, and we'll see you next time.